Gone are the days in which all married couples have only shared bank accounts and merged finances. Many spouses these days live totally separate financial lives. When one gets into debt and wants to consider filing a bankruptcy, they wonder, is it possible for me to file for bankruptcy without my spouse being involved? The answer is yes and no. It's possible for just one spouse to file for bankruptcy. It's a good idea for just one spouse to file if the couple doesn't have much in the way of joint debt like credit cards or personal loans, and if the spouse that doesn't want to file doesn't have much debt of his or her own. If both spouses have a significant amount of debt, it usually makes sense for them to file a joint bankruptcy. If this doesn't occur, the spouse that doesn't file often has to file his or her own bankruptcy within a year. When only one spouse files for bankruptcy, we have to consider all household income and household expenses when determining the type of bankruptcy that the filing spouse qualifies for. This can get complicated if spouses keep finances totally separate and don't help each other at all. Here's an example. John recently had to stop working due to health problems. He's now on Social Security disability and receives $2,000 per month. His wife, Nancy, is a teacher who makes $110,000 per year. John has $120,000 in credit card debt and is interested in filing for bankruptcy as he can no longer afford the payments now that he is not working. John cannot file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and eliminate his debt because the income limit for a household of two to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is about $85,000. Even though Nancy isn't filing, we still have to consider her income. Therefore, John only qualifies for a Chapter 13 payment plan. After reviewing the household expenses, it's evident that if John and Nancy pooled their money, they could pay off John's debt in 5 years, considering the fact that all interests and fees will stop accruing on John's debt when the bankruptcy is filed. The payment will be about $2,200 per month. Unfortunately, Nancy isn't willing to help John repay his debt, and unless she changes her mind, he won't be able to proceed with a bankruptcy because the payment will be more than what he receives on Social Security. This is an extreme example, and a lot of times the fact that spouses keep their finances separate does not prevent one spouse from filing. But it does demonstrate that if you're married, your spouse will need to at least provide information about his or her financial situation and may need to consider providing some financial support in order to make a bankruptcy work. If you want to get some clarity on your complicated financial situation, give Steidl Steinberg a call. We've been helping people solve their debt problems for over 40 years. With our experience, why go anywhere else?